Assalamu alaikum everyone. Today our topic is how computers work. We will discuss this topic by understanding the technology that powers our digital world. First of all, the most basic definition of what is a computer is the following. A computer is an electronic device that processes data according to a set of instructions called a program. The key characteristics of a computer is as follows. It accepts the input from the users, otherwise it does not work. It is not called a computer in the other case. It processes the information at high speeds, means it is super efficient. It stores data for future use by the use of a component called memory. It produces outputs in various forms. Just like we can store its data in computer, we can store its data in onto a display, we can store its data into a CD. So it produces outputs in various forms. The four components, the four basics which a computer should have are the following. First, it should be capable of input. Second, it should be capable of processing. The third is the storage factor. The fourth one, it should provide some output of some sort. For the input, there are several examples such as keyboard, mouse, microphone, and scanners. These are called the input devices which a computer uses to input into a computer in the form of a data. Second thing is a CPU. The CPU performs several kind of processing and it executes the instructions. The third component is storage. Storage includes RAM, which is temporary, and hard drives, which can be permanent. The fourth thing is output. Output, that thing which you see on screen, it is the output. It includes the monitor. Now let's discuss the input devices. Devices that allow users to enter data and commands into the computer are called input devices. Following are the examples of common input devices. It is keyboard, mouse, touch screen, microphone, scanner, and webcam. They input different kind of data into the computer, so all of them has their own significance. The question is why input matters. Without the input devices, computers would have no way to receive instructions or data from users. They are the bridge between human intent and computer actions. That means that there is no computer without input devices. That is the key component of a computer. Let's move on to the second thing, the CPU, the brain of the computer. The CPU has the following components. There are three components of a CPU. One is control unit, CU. The second is arithmetic unit, and the third are the registers. CPU, as we discussed earlier, it performs different processing things and it performs different calculations. Let's discuss the component of CPU. The CU directs all operations and manages data flow. The arithmetic logic unit, it performs mathematical and logical operations. The registers, they are small, fast storage locations inside the CPU. That means that computer can access one register to uh, input the data temporarily. There is a memory called cache memory that is stored in the form of registers. CPU has its own speed. With the advancement in technology, the speed of CPU has increased a lot. It is measured in gigahertz. 1 gigahertz equals to 1 billion cycles per second. The modern computers can run at a gigahertz of 3 to 5 gigahertz. Next thing which the today's technology have is called multi-core processing. A CPU can consist of multiple cores that perform more data, that perform more instructions, that processes more instructions, and they can work individually or in collectively. They can be in pair, 2, 4, 8, or more, allowing parallel processing of tasks to increase the speed of processing. Let's move on to the memory, RAM, and storage. RAM, as the name suggests, it is random access memory. The instructions will store in RAM in the form that will be short-term memory. It is very fast. It is volatile. Whenever you switch off your computer, this type of memory will be loose. They are in the form of two, keep keeping the power n. They cannot be 3 GB, they cannot be 5 GB. They can be in the form of 2 power n. They can be 2 GBs, 4 GBs, 8, 16, and 32, and so on. Now, what does a volatile mean? Volatile means that whenever you switch off your computer, the data stored in this RAM is lost. It cannot come back. Okay, so to make the data permanent, to store the data permanent, there are storage devices in computers. There are two types: hard drive, and the modern type is SSD. Okay, SSD stands for solid state drive, and hard drive, HDD we can call it. It is a long term memory. They are slower than RAM, but the key point is they are non-volatile. You can store the data in it when the computer is turned off. You can store the data in the form of programs, operating systems, and many more. There are also storage files in it. The typical sizes of storage is 256 GBs, 512 GBs, and you can extend it to 1 terabyte plus. Next, the main component of computer, how a computer works. The computer, as a human speak, we speak in the language English, we speak in the language Urdu, but how a computer speaks, which language do computer understand? Computer understand our language called binary language. There are only two conditions in binary language: either it can be 1 or either it can be 0. 1 indicates that it is on and 0 indicates that it is off. So the combination of ones and zeros, the computer translates these informations into usable informations, and it is called machine language. It is far from human language. A normal human cannot understand this language. So to code in computer, we use high level languages like C, Python, JavaScript, and other languages, and then we use compilers to translate these languages into binary. The endpoint of one language the computer can understand is only binary language. It cannot understand the high level language. Just like this, there's 65. The binary code of 65 is as follows. Okay, and the binary code of letter is this. Okay, next thing is the cycle in which a computer works, how a CPU processes the information. Okay, the number one thing is fetch, the number two thing is decode, the number three is execute, and the number four thing is store. The computer fetch, as the name suggests, it fetches the information from the RAM to form different processes on it. Decode, it processes the information and understands what the information is saying. Okay, the information that it is that suggesting the information are then executed, and the process is formed in the step 3. The next here thing is store. The store, if you want to store the results, that is the fourth step. You can store the results and return back to the memory or registers. In the modern computers, the key point is that this cycle repeats billions of times per second in modern computers. Going on, next we should discuss the output devices, the devices that present process information to users. It can be in the form of visual outputs, it can be in the form of audio outputs, and it can be in the form of other outputs too. They are not bound with these two outputs. Okay, the first thing is visual outputs. Visual means the thing which we can see. These include monitors, displays. They show text and graphics. The projector is one other example, with printers. The second thing is audio outputs. They include speakers and headphones, and this information suggests that monitors work with a certain amount of resolution. Then resolution means the sharpness of image. Higher resolution means the image is more sharper than usual. The next thing is hardware and software. The software is a key component of computer in the form of operating systems and application softwares. The other thing is hardware that we can work on, that by using the hardware we can input the information in the computer. So by the combination of these two things, one computer works, and it is incomplete with either software and with either hardware. The physical components which you can see and touch are called hardware. They include CPU, RAM, hard drive, monitor, keyboard, mouse, motherboard, power supply, and graphic card, which you can call GPU. And the software has two types. One is operating systems, and the other is application softwares, which we can call. And what is operating system? Operating system which are installed in a computer, and a computer cannot work without it. These are called operating systems. And the application softwares are the programs which are the utilities, which a computer can work without the application programs, but they depend from user to user. Just like several people use Word, several use Chrome, several use Mozilla Firefox, and the other things go on. They also include games and entertainment. And the next thing is utilities and tools. These includes the drivers which allows the different input devices or the connected devices to work properly, just like a Wi-Fi driver. The next thing is the motherboard. The main circuit board of the computer is called motherboard, and the CPU and other things and ports are connected to the motherboard. It first has a CPU socket, then RAM slots in which we can plug in the RAMs, the expansion slots which we can add the graphic cards and add-ons with it, SATA ports. These are used to connect the SSDs, solid state drives, which have no movable components in it. USB headers to connect keyboards, mouse, or USB ports with the computer, and BIOS chips that stores the basic system firmware and the operating systems. Right here it says the motherboard is like the nervous system of a computer, and it is true. It provides electrical connections and pathways for all the components, and without motherboard, a computer cannot exist. Next thing is how data is stored. As I suggested earlier, HDD, hard disk drive, and SSD, solid state drives, are both storage devices, but there is a key difference in them. Hard disk drive does have a rotating mechanical disk in it, and the data is stored in hard drive by moving the mechanical disks by the movement of physical components in it. And solid state drives store and remove and fetch data with the form of electrical pulses. That is the basic difference between these two. It has no moving parts in it. It has memory chips. It is more faster than HDD, and HDD have mechanical spinning disk. It is slower, but it is cheaper. So both of them has their own pros and cons. Putting it all together, the complete system working in harmony. The user provides input. That First of all, by the use of keyboard and mouse, data is sent to memory called RAM. CPU processes the instructions. Then the results are stored in the form of in a RAM or in storage if you want to turn off your PC, and the output is shown on speaker or on screen. Okay, so everything we have discussed, the conclusion is this: what we have discussed today. A computer processes data through input, processing, storage, and output. The CPU is the brain that executes instructions at billions of cycles per second. RAM provides fast temporary storage, while hard drives and SSDs store data permanently. Computers communicate in binary zeros and ones, the only language they can understand. Hardware, physical parts, which we can say, and software programs work together to make computers functional. And that's all for today. Thank you very much.